in association with Valachi, and we have a $200,000 Terminating Turbo Pick 6. The other side of it's going to be at Awapuni. And as we come to you, Swedes, good morning. I hope you're nice and warm there, my friend. Heavy 11, and I watched some races from Wanganui the other day. Fair to say the water table in the CD is awfully high.
It is very, very high. Mick, a very good morning to you. Yes, speaking to the track manager about 10 minutes ago, 34 mils have fallen since Wednesday here at Awapuni, and that's on top of a lot of rain. So I said, is it as deep as it's been? He said, this winter it certainly is. We're racing the short course on the corner. Rails in the true position. He still thought they'd run 119 for 1,200 metres. So that's pretty slow, isn't it? So they will be spread out like Brown's cows across a couple of our pick 6 legs. Mick, my phone's been ringing. Can you find us an anchor here at Awapuni? Can you find us an anchor at Awapuni? Look, the observation is no. Here at Awapuni with the races we have. I think we might have found one up north, but look, our 3 legs of pick 6 are certainly very, very difficult to find one to put the big circle around.
Well, it's one of those days, Sweens, where there's a lot of horses where there's 5 and 6 legs, and you can't take them all. But ironically, a leg of pick 6, a leg which isn't in pick 6, is the second on the card. I thought this might be the race of the day, and to be completely honest, again, it's a small field with 3 or 4 or 5 winning chances, headed by Platinum Rapper and London Express. I thought this was a really good race. We'll get Stephen Hunt's take on this. Steve, as you bring you in, this is an interesting old battle because you've got horses who are exposed, and we know Platinum Rapper and London Express. You've got horses who are coming through like Mrs. Rumble and Akira, who look the goods. How did the punters see this one?
A really nice race. Look, it was interesting framing this market earlier in the week, Mick, around London Express, Platinum Rapper, who would start fave. In our particular book, we heard through the first call yesterday, trackside boys were pretty keen on Platinum Rapper at a $3.20 quote. It's drifted to $3.50, and that's on the back of warm support around London Express, who holds 3 times more money than Platinum Rapper. Our question mark around Platinum Rapper earlier in the week was 16 back to 1,200, and it's been well supported in the Winter Cup. So we presume there's a bit of gas left in the tank for maybe its 2nd or 3rd up heading towards the Winter Cup, and a little bit more vulnerable for its assignment this afternoon. But look, not freeness Platinum Rapper, but in terms of dollar invested matched against London Express holds 3 times more money than Platinum Rapper. Miss Rumble's been well supported in that 3rd line of betting, 5 into 460, and Booty Lara also well spec during the week off a peak of $9 as short as $6.50, and that's resulting in Akira being a notable drift of $5.50 out to $7. So your best lead is round number 2, London Express, but I think this market's got a little bit to play out between now and race close.
Yeah, I think they'll come for one or the other at the top of the market, but there's a lot more depth than that. And speed map here is interesting, Sweens, because I can see them not going a huge gallop here the first 400 or 600 metres, and that could be really tricky. This could be a race where being one pair too far back could cost you a win.
Yes, it's going to be also that case, Mick, of if you handle it, you're probably going to be going forward at the right time on these sort of track conditions. So, look, I did the form on this one. Platinum Rapper came out as my top selection and clearly on top. Look, London Express is a very, very smart filly. I know Ellen has had a slight niggle with London Express, and that just means to me that I can watch today and probably go at the next start. Hazel's aboard, getting it down to 54.5. These are our best sort of mile open handicap horses in the country, or in the CD more accurately. You've got Rosewood, you've got She's Poppy, you've got Dolcetto, and Taurus, who went really nicely at Otaki at its next start. So for the 3-year-old filly to step up to Wait for Age Company and to be right in the mix against these horses, and look how far they are clear of the remainder of the field, and that is Scarpolo back there in the field, says to me she's got all sorts of quality, and she'll be a big player in the Winter Cup. She'll sneak in there in an absolute featherweight, so look out for her to be a big player. And here's London Express. This is the second now. We probably expected her to win this day. Now, Deerfield is a smart horse. He's been scratched here this afternoon, and it got in a forward position, got to the right part of the track quickly, Deerfield, and kept up a very, very strong gallop. Now, London Express was good. It hit the line nicely, sectionally on a day where you can't take a lot out of the sectionals. It hit the line well enough. I did expect it to pick them up and go on by Deerfield, but Deerfield has had a very good preparation. You've got a nice horse in King Cougar there as well, so the form is pretty strong here. London Express was good enough, but I just know Alan mentioned to me maybe 3 weeks ago that he just found something off with London Express, so he's been scratching his head a fraction. You trust him that he gets this horse back to the races in fine fettle. So there's no doubt London Express will run a race, but I just have a suspicion that she might have missed a little bit of work coming into today, and there's some pretty big assignments for London Express going forward. So I'd tread lightly with London Express. So therefore, with Platinum Rapper's form and weight for age company, I've gone with it over London Express. Look, I thought Akira was super impressive in that maiden win here at Awapuni, bidding home Tavi's Court, who's come out and absolutely margined its field at its next start. So the form's okay there. And look, Bluty Lara. Now, the only question mark for me here is I'm not sure Bluty Lara's an apprentice's horse. Bridie's a young lady. She's getting the weight off the back. Not the easiest of rides, Bluty Lara. It is a very talented horse, and I see the money has come for it, and it's been rock solid, this preparation. I mark the 1, 2, 6 and 4, and I'm keen enough to have Platinum Rapper as my bet of the afternoon.
Okay, good information there, because Jonathan Parks is riding up a storm, and as we talk about Jonathan Parks, coming back to the third on the card, Stephen Hunt, at the moment, if I'm backing in the CD, and I know there's some good apprentices there, but the way that both of them are riding, Lisa Allpress and Jonathan Parks, I'm just looking at races and saying, right, which one of their twos do I want to back? That seems to be the case here in the third on the card.
And that represents their price in today's J Challenge, Mick. $2.15 J Parks, our Allpress $1.30, so they really do dominate the J Challenge today at Awapuni. Interesting race again, comeback from all accounts, looking to target the Winter Cup, as is Platinum Rapper, as we've already touched on. So there is a little bit of vulnerability around comeback and how forward it is for this assignment. But look, it's well supported without taking off in its previous 3 or 4 starts where it's been clearly the best back runner. $2.60, got as short as $2.40, back out to $2.60. I wouldn't be surprised if it went somewhere between its $2.60 price and $3.30 on the win tote. So I think there is a possibility that it could get out closer to $3 in the $2.50 mark. She's Poppy, well supported at $4. Again, overall, there's only 5 in the race, but there's no strong lead here. King Cougar's been, again, matching the dollars that come back, and She's Poppy have been invested in. So King Cougar, even though it hasn't won past 1,200 metres, well spec'd at $4.20. And Dougie, I'm not going to mention this race without Dougie having a little plug. Opened it looking at Dougie's price, $14 on Wednesday, as short as $11 this morning, now trading at $9.50. Side winkers go on, tongue tie go on, Dougie. So look for improvement second up for that horse, which we know this time last year was good enough to be sent to Sydney. So that might be the ball over in a race that lacks a little bit of size, but definitely there's quality there.
Yeah, interesting field, and small field, meaning therefore there could be a little bit of a lack of tempo because there's not too many to get rolling early. Here's how we see that early rush out of the gates, and here on Galway and Comeback. As we come back to you, Sweens, he's a hard horse not to love, Comeback. I know he was beaten last time out, but he's just a lovely big horse who puts his head down and he tries hard. Because he's so big, you sort of think he's going to cop 60 kilos, but he's giving She's Poppy an awful lot of weight.
Yeah, that's the factor. Look, those two are going to eyeball each other, aren't they? Comeback in here in Galway. Which one do you want to go to war with? I think that's clearly Comeback, even with the 6 kilos against. Lisa Allpress is a very talented rider. I thought this was an amazing performance, Mick, this day at Trentham. Look, Dr. Watson got in on the lightweight. They went forward because they wanted to make sure they weren't too far away from the Baker and Forsman horse down towards the inside, the big mare, and she didn't go astride down towards the inside with the apprentice aboard. So then he's a sitting duck. But my word, did he throw it away? Not one stride of this Trentham home straight on very tough conditions. And the lightweight with Dr. Watson, who's a favourite of mine as well, picks him up late in this. But how brave is this horse? You don't want to look sort of below his chest because his legs aren't pretty, but his heart is there, his attitude's there. He pins those ears back again when Dr. Watson comes up next to him, and he just finds again to the line. So I don't doubt this horse. You've made the right assessment though, Mick. She's Poppy at that price is absolutely right on the money for me. I was very keen on her 2 starts ago here at Awapuni. I thought she was disappointing. She finished off nicely enough against Hinirangi, who's a quality mare. She went to Wanganui and I thought very, very good. So Comeback isn't at the right price for me. She's Poppy is. So she will go on top over Comeback. I thought outside of that, Hinirangi is a nice horse. And look, King Cougar hasn't quite got to the mark I've thought this winter. He's still on target for the Winter Cup. He's at 1,400 metres. He's getting a lightweight on his back, so he's got to be a competitor. But I really do like the top 2 in the market here, Comeback and She's Poppy, but she's the one at the right price.
Yeah, it's a gnarly little race. Really looking forward to that. The 4th on the card. 5th on the card is the one we had before we get involved in the pick 6. And If you were listening earlier, and if you weren't, I want to know what you were doing. Robert Hannum, who gets the catch right on My Gift, said, Punters, this is my gift to you. 3.2. Now, Stevie, that's actually on the drift from $3, but I take it that's just you guys taking some percentage out of the market and tightening things up?
Yeah, absolutely bang on. Don't get put off by the slight drift, but I think it's found its mark. In fact, overall, this market is very, very solid since we opened on Thursday, Mick. My gift 3 out to 3.2. Robert Hannum does the writing, very confident around his chances on My Gift, who paid big odds last start up north. I think punters were hoping it needed one more and then they might get a nice each way quote this time in, but as it turned out, he did the business last start and you're getting $3.20 for its chance this afternoon. A high quality, 480 solid in that second line of betting. Gianqua, first time over a trip, but being by Cape Blanco, you'd think pedigree, no trouble over 2,000 metres, well spec'd, 650 into 550, so in 1 full point. And Cape de Jure, back over trip, went back to 1,500 metres last start, maybe just found them a bit sharp over a staying trip. The local Cape de Jure has been the second best back runner, even though it fits into that fourth line of betting. Could have got as high as $8. I know Jason Tan was very keen on this runner yesterday on the first call. He's got a few followers here. It's been backed into $6. So My Gift, best back runner. Second best backed is Cape de Jure, 8 into 6.
As we head to the speed map for the 2100 metre event, the fifth on the card, gee, it was good last start, My Gift. It's a relatively neutral speed map, as you would pretty much expect for this grade of horse. You're not expecting too many to be going crazy out of the gates on a heavy 11. But coming back to you, Sweens, I thought a repeat of that last start performance, it probably wins. But there's a few new tricks to this. Obviously, it's a bit harder when you come down the line and stuff. But here's Cape de Jure, a horse who's from the region, and I thought was really good here in a good field last start. But I'm not sure this form's any better than My Gift's form.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's any better, but what I would say is that Lisa gets back aboard this horse after riding it 2 starts and goes with it after it drew inside, which gave it absolutely no chance 2 starts ago at Trentham. So this just suggested to me that this horse is coming back to it. It put a couple of good staying winter track wins together last preparation. Look, you won't see a more impressive mare. She really cuts a pretty picture, this 5-year-old mare by Nom de Jure. Look, I think she'll swim today and she gets that senior hoop back aboard. The gate's good enough. If she shows a little bit of early zip as she did on this day, that she can find her mark. There's no better rider, I think, across the country, in my opinion, about finding the right part of the track condition than Lisa Allpress. You just saw it again at Wanganui on Thursday. She can find the right spot when these tracks are off, and I think she'll do that with Cape de Jure. So I'm willing at $8 to have a good look. At $6, I'm still willing to have a decent look. Outside of that, I thought Pecoris, and look, this horse has been a bit forgotten in the market. It gets 3 kilos off its back. I know the first 2 starts haven't been awe-inspiring, but I still think it's got the quality to be a major player here. My Gift, yes, I saw this horse win here. I didn't have it in my numbers that day, and Mace gave me a bit of a serve. So it's certainly in the mix this afternoon, and it was a very good winner here on a wet one. Sort of led up and just kept on rolling under, who was it, Robbie on that day? I'm not 100% sure, but possibly Robbie. And look, Master Pat is a horse I've followed for a long period of time. It's very, very injury prone, this particular horse, but if it got back to its best, it'd be right in the mix. But I was very keen around the 6, 1 and 2 here in race number 5, Mick.
Thanks, Weens. Things get serious with the next on the card. It's a second leg of our terminating Turbo Pick 6. If you are just joining us, $200,000 guaranteed. It could well be more. It's got to go. Has to go today. So if you want to play, this is the second leg. We think we've got an anchor in the first leg, Helena Baby, race 6 out of Tarapa. This, not so easy, but Stephen Hunt, the pointers have been from the punters toward the Seagull and Hinapara. Again, we're talking about the consistency of this money coming for horses ridden by either by Jonathan Parkes or Lisa Allpress. On this occasion, it's Jonathan.
Yeah, personally, I find this the most difficult leg in the pick 6 this afternoon, Mick. And look, there's no real strong lead. Hinapara has been well supported without getting carried away. 6 into 5. The Seagull, you mentioned Jonathan Parkes, is at a default bet in terms of the jockey rather than the horse. Remains to be seen, but drawn barrier 14, whether that's an advantage or disadvantage, we'll know later in the day. 7 into 6. Hurricane, Bridie Ansell jumps on this horse. Had no jockey this time yesterday, but Bridie gets the claim down to 56 kilograms, well spec'd at 6.5. Grinner, who was spec'd at longer odds last start and did the job in the last race. Look, it stays in the same grade up in weight, but not friendless, 9 out to 10. A little bit of specking around leading role, which I mentioned again at the top of the show. Opened at 13, got as high as 16, just back into $13. Probably one of the best back runners in this particular race this morning has been leading role. A little question mark on the heavy track, but punters believe at that odds it's worth a chance.
Speed map over the 2100 metres for the rating 65 horses looks a little bit like this. We're thinking He's Rick is by far and away our most likely leader, but Sweens, I have absolutely nothing to say about this. Over to you, brother, because this is a leg I think we took 8 or 9 in.
I wish I didn't have to say too much about it either, Mick, to be honest with you, because it's an absolute nightmare. Where did I look in the end? Look, I was very keen Hurricane because this is a dead set swimmer, but there was no jockey declared when I was doing the preview yesterday on the podcast, and now I see Bridie Ansell is doing the riding. Now, the weight relief is wonderful, but he's not the sort of horse you can sit back and just relax on. You need a good strong rider to wind this horse up. It's had Sean Mackay and then Emma Quinn rode in the amateur race, so that just concerns me a fraction from that draw. It's going to get well back in the run, and maybe Bridie's not the perfect match, but the weight may just be a big enough assist to see Hurricane home. It's on top with not a lot of confidence at all. Grinner, it gets to 60 kilos, and it's not a weight you want to be taking many horses with in these sort of track conditions, but it did win nicely here on a heavy 11. So horses for courses, it's won here on heavy track conditions, and it was very good. It beat a little bit green late in that race, so it's in the mix for mine. Look, 14 Hinny Para, since I handed over the ownership to another group, has grown another leg and was very good at Wanganui. Let's hope she can do it again. She was super dominant, but I'm not sure what you can take out of these performances at Wanganui. You know the winner at the 800 metre mark. They take off, they travel to the outside fence, and they generally win by 15. Whether the form's going to stack up going forward, I know Scarlowy came out of a Wanganui win and won at Hawke's Bay, but that's a different horse. He's going to go into open handicap grade Scarlowy. I'm not sure Hinny Para will be, but she just won so well, you have to put her somewhere in the mix. And if leading role put his best foot forward, he would win this race for fun because he's got all the ability to be winning a race like this. He doesn't have a heavy track record that recommends him strongly. He missed last time behind Sanchez at Hastings on better track conditions. He was better prior to that behind Happy Star. So I went 6, 1, 14 and 8, but if you are going for that 10% ticket, take as many as you can. Look, if Helena Baby gets beaten, it's a 10% ticket anyway, so spread your money as far and wide as you can in the first leg here.
Yep, thanks for that definitive analysis, Sweens. We did the same thing. We just took a whole bunch on our ticket and threw some darts at the dartboard, and good luck if you're having a crack at that leg of pick 6, but hey, Helena Baby could be our anchor, so we could maybe go really wide there. You might even take the field. Might give you a chance. 7th on the card is again not easy, and often one of the toughest jumps for the gallopers is from the maidens to the rating 65. You can be a maiden one week and you can be up to taking on 5 win horses who are out of form the next start. Miss Freelove is one of those, Stephen Hunt, but it hasn't bothered the punters. They've jumped on here after the big win last time, even though it's fresh out of maidens.
Clearly the best market mover at Awapuni this afternoon, number 12, Miss Freelove. She took 12 starts to win. And Sweens mentioned how you take a line in those victories at Wanganui in the last 2 to 3 weeks, but won by 8 lengths at Wanganui. They're backing up their money because it was well spec'd at a nice each way quote at Wanganui a few weeks back. $11 we offered punters yesterday. It's been backed into $6.50 in that second line of betting. Not 100% confident who will start favourite between Shadow Dancer, Manhattan Flame, Miss Freelove, and even Tell You What, who's on the quick backup back to 1200, had no luck at Hawke's Bay 7 days ago. Shadow Dancer, well spec, $6, unbeaten on a heavy track. Manhattan Flame, there's your little market mover outside Miss Freelove in terms of the top 3 in the book, open to $8, trading at $6. If I had to give some little push who I thought would start favourite, it would be Manhattan Flame from barrier 10. Tell You What, I mentioned on the quick backup, not friendless at 6.5. Miss Freelove we've already touched on. A little bit of specking around Otavio, 13, got as high as 16 back into 14, and that's funny from a wide gate. I think it's crucial for this horse. It doesn't like to be hunted inside horses and inside gates. It likes the clear air and the freedom, and that's funny. Even though opened at $11, got as high as 17, bought back into $15. Don't leave out of your pick 6 if you've got the cash to do so. But yeah, interesting race. Manhattan Flame, slight lead in terms of the favourite horses, but spec'd and market movers, number 12, Miss Freelove.
Speed map for this one over the 1200 metres, and obviously they'll be trying to get to the outside as quickly as they can. Coming to you, Sweens, it's one of those races, you know, sometimes you fall in love with the horse for no reason. You don't really think it's that good, you just like them. I've got one in this race, and I've included it in pick 6 for that reason. Liquid Inspiration. I don't know why, just one day it caught my attention, and I like her. She's a 7-year-old mare. She's probably not that good, but I can't leave her out of pick 6.
Got her in 3, Mick, because the wet track record's just strong enough to say that if you take the balance of probabilities, this horse is going to handle these track conditions and therefore put itself in the mix. I think for me here, you go with a gut feel at times because form analysis can become very, very difficult here, and that just leads me to the top of the book as a possible anchor in pick 6 here, and tell you what. This horse has been very unlucky, I know, on track conditions that are nothing similar to today, but the run behind Scarfy was good, a tragedy beaten really, and the run at Hastings behind a very smart horse in Scarlowy was also good. They're in 72. The horse is dropping back to 65 grade. Hazel will know the horse well. It's getting 3 kilos off its back down to 57 in this grade. I went back through its heavy track form. It won at Trentham on a heavy 11. I think they're vaguely comparable, although it is very difficult to compare heavy 11 to heavy 11. It beat Miss Lizzie on that day, who has come out this preparation on very wet tracks and been very, very good. So my gut is telling me, if I don't just put the ring around tell you what, then I'm in trouble because the spread is wide outside that. Kirkland is a wet tracker, went very well fresh behind Scarlowy. I'm going along those form lines. Yes, I have Liquid Inspiration. I think it is a very good wet track horse. And I don't know a heck of a lot around Shadow Dancer, but Lisa Allpress is an assist. The draw is perfect. Stephen Marsh is an ace trainer, and it's won 2 from 2 on a heavy track condition. So that are my 4, or they are my 4 rather. But there may be a ticket for me personally that anchors tell you what in this pick 6.
Ooh. Okay, I think there could be potentially an anchor in the last leg as we come back to Stephen Hunt for market analysis of the 8th on the card. This is going to be a nervous time. This is the last leg of pick 6, and Steve, I really like Obsessive. I know it's not over the line. I know it's not going to just be too good for them. I liked it from the first time I saw it at the trials for Clayton Chipperfield. I think Hazel getting the 3 kilos off is a big help, and you take Helena Baby out of that race at Ellerslie last start, and it's been some pretty nice horses, pretty darn convincingly. Don't think the better track actually suited at Ruakaka last time. I think it's clear top pick, and I'm willing to go half my ticket on it and then another ticket with maybe 4 or 5 others. How does the market see this, the last on the card?
You'd think it'd be natural improvement as well. Mick, it hadn't had a race for 12 months before it was first up at Ellerslie. Third up, you'd still think there's that natural improvement around Obsessive. Look, 280, if you want to back into final field market before you're eyeing up what to do in pick 6, I think 280, it's found its bottom mark and there's potential it could touch that $3 line. In terms of pick 6, if you don't loan it, then you've got to take 4 or 5 runners because they're willing to spec 4 or 5 around it. One of them being C Star, 12 into $6.50, so almost half its quote. C Star, Lisa Allpress doing the riding. Foiling, 8 into 7.5. Johnny Lincoln, 750 out to 8, so that's a drifter. And plenty opposing to Zella, even though it was pretty impressive in lower grades. 550 second favourite during the week. It's now out to $8, so it is cold. Cannot ride a ticket on the Jonathan Parks ride on Dizella. Rias has been well supported this morning, the first 2 to 3 hours. Probably one of the better back runners in this particular race today has been Reyes, 13 to 12. A little bit of specking round Detentore. This time last year was winning them for fun, but this time in just hasn't quite struck the form, but does like a heavy track, $23. And Bachelor Bay, blinkers go on, looks your obvious leader here. I think the tactics will be trying to run them into the ground and third up. Don't leave this out on paper, you wouldn't have it, but from what I'm seeing, there's plenty of money around that $51, $61 quote around Bachelor Babe.
Here's where they might land in the last on the card, the nerve-wracking leg of pick 6. I hope you're still live. I'd love to be. Sweens, look, I'm going to take one ticket with Obsessive. I just think he's a really nice, strong son of Darcy Brahma. They were giving the horse time. I've liked him from the first time I saw him at the trials. I think today is a perfect race for him, but that's one ticket, and then I'm going another ticket. Is that silly, or is that a strategy you can buy into?
I think you can buy into that strategy. I would be terribly uncomfortable if I just had Obsessive on my ticket with the horse coming off a dead 5 the other way around at Ruakaka. In fact, the last couple of starts have been the other way going. The win on the heavy track at Ellerslie, they went 128. Well, they'll run 132, so it's going to be a 4-second difference. So that's got to be a little bit of a niggle for you. Yes, the Helena Baby form is there, and that is obviously very, very good winter form across the country. So your reasoning's great to have that one ticket with Obsessive. Hazel Chauffeur won have sat on this horse, so that's obviously another little niggle for mine, but she is a very talented young lady. So, look, I'm not going to put her on top. I'm actually going to put the 7 Johnny Lincoln on, just for the value market for me. Look, Obsessive's the one if you're ranking one, but I thought Johnny was really, really tough here over 15.50 fresh up this preparation. He deserved to get beaten that day. Like, he did all the donkey work and he just kept on rolling. So, Robbie Hennams, that's his sort of ride. It's drawn 13 in the race. It'll be in the right part of the track. It'll be on speed. And he's a big, strong horse now, this Johnny Lincoln, and he'll keep rolling through this ground. Over the 4, Obsessive. Outside of that, I went with the 13, which is Dizella. Look, I'm not really sure why there's no tickets coming for this horse. It did tie up post that first one. So Robbie had a couple of issues. He took it to Otaki very confident, and it was very, very tough. Very, very tough that day, beating home Manolo, who was very, very good in winning his previous start. So I think the form lines are okay there on the 13. And then the 5. Look, if Go-To Man turned up at his very best, he'd be right in the mix here. He's getting weight off his back down to the 53. But look, it's one of those races again, Mick. If you don't have Obsessive stood out, where do you not go? Sea Star won nicely last time. Bachelor Babe is good enough wet tracks. D10 Tory, we know his ability. He's just not there mentally. Lord Turbo won his first 2-year-old race of his career on a wet one and ran 4th in a couple of guineas here before going to Hong Kong. Well, foiling. I did have a chat to Alan Sherrick and he was pretty keen about foiling, really handling these track conditions. So you're either all in or you just put the big ticket around Obsessive here in the last leg of pick 6.
All right, Sweens, it can't just be about pick 6, even though we want it to be today. What's your strategy? Because I know you're pretty keen on the toppy and the second on the card.
It's all about Platinum Rapper for me this afternoon. I think by the latter part of the race meeting here, this track is going to fly to absolute paces, and it's all going to be about how you track into the race and which part of the track you get to. So I'm just going to put the whole 100 on Platinum Rapper. Whole 100 on Platinum Rapper at whatever price she is at the present moment. So, yeah, we'll just stand it all out on Platinum Rapper. I think that weight for age form is going to be pretty strong in race number 2.
6 kicks off at 2.49, terminating $200,000. It's got to go today. It's turbo, so we're going backwards and forwards. Let's increase the IQ of this conversation by at least several points by bringing Brendan Popplewell back in. B-Pop and Bevan, simple question for you both. Do we have to anchor Helena Baby in the first leg so we've got some more room to play later on?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Double yes. Yeah.
Cool. Good chat. On to the next on the car. We'll start with you, Bevan. This is a really tricky leg.
It is. I mean, look, I just went through these fields endless times saying, can I find one for the punters? And I just couldn't. Just literally could not find the punters a league of pick 6 to anchor. So in the first league, I've gone with Grinner, who was good here last time. Hurricane's a dead set mutter, leading role at his best, right on the mix here. The 13, Maidstone Park, is in good nick. Hinipara, go you little girl, the 14 and the 16. This is my big upsetter, Brahma Rama. This is an absolute wet tracker, in off the ballot. Madan Singh with 2 kilos off. Look out for the Go Racing horse to take out the first leg of pick 6.
Bevan. All right, let's move on to league number 3 here out of Te Rapa, race number 7. Going with Code Cracker. Look, potentially for some, this could be another anchor for this pick 6. A horse who was impressive when winning here 2 starts ago and then just beaten at Tauranga. Other options in the race are the 6 in Cherry Lane, the 3 in Sarah Bande, and I've thrown the 9 into the mix in Red Beach if you wanted something else. Certainly the 10 in Falkirk Lass.
The next leg, race number 7 here at Awapuni. I have a sneaking suspicion that Tell You What will win this particular race, but I am not keen enough to anchor with Helena Baby, our anchor. So Tell You What, the 1, the 5 Shadow Dancer with that great wet track record, senior hooper board, Stephen Marshall, a great draw. Then we're to the 6 Kirkland, who I think is talented, to second up this preparation after chasing home Scarlowy. And then I also put in the 9 in the book, that being Liquid Inspiration, who I think is more than likely going to handle these wet track conditions and therefore a player.
On to race number 8, the 5th league here at Te Rapa, going with number 8 in So Wicked, a horse that has the side winkers on this afternoon and has won out of this venue, So Wicked. So mark that on top. Other runners you need, Wooden Edge dropping back to a rating 65 despite not winning a race since the 15th of July 2017. 4 kilos coming off with Moobs Kareem, and then I've added in the 6 in Leitana, the import first start here. Symbio has taken a lot of support in the race. Anything else that you need? There's plenty of other options. I thought maybe Tuta La Classe, runner number 9, is another option.
And into the last league of pick 6, if you're live here, what do you need? You'd like a ticket with plenty, but the spend at this stage is certainly getting up there. Obsessive may just be the one, the 4, that's certainly in the mix. I thought Johnny Lincoln will run through the line strongly, big strong horse at home. DeZella's a dead set mutter and should be okay in these track conditions. The 14 foiling for Alan Sherrick with a good second on board last start. If you wanted others, maybe Reyes is a good each way chance, and Lord Turbo certainly has a bit of form on the board, but you can't take them all, Mick. It'll be a 10% pick 6 for mine, so $76 will get you those selections. Best luck with them on a tough old day. But I think it's a great initiative with the TAB, this pick 6, because the fields are getting very difficult to do the form on, and it just makes you cast your eye across the fields that little bit tighter.
Sure does. Thank you, boys. Go get a cup of tea. We're back to business very shortly. Thank you to Stephen Hunt as well. And looking at that graphic, BP and Sween sounds like a really bad rap group, doesn't it? BP and Sweens. It's got that horrible sound to it, but let's hope they got your pick 6 for you. Stephen, are you allowed to take a pick 6?
Absolutely, Mick. Yeah, we'll have a syndicate running here in the office, and hopefully we can get a part of it, even if it's only 10%. And who knows, it might be only 5 legs. That's the winning result come later on this afternoon.
I've got a question for you. Who's the go-to man or woman in the office? Who's the best thoroughbred selector in the office? So when you're having an argument, you go, no, he's our man. Who's the best? Is it you?
No, I'm not going to take the raps. Look, we all have our own day, our day out in the sun, if you want to put it that way. But no, look, I think at the end of the day, we all have our own opinion here in the office, and we come together and we try and narrow down the legs, and it might be down to Helena Baby, but I'm not going to leave out Lord Turbo in the last, Mick. That's my blowout in the pick 6. Back from Hong Kong. It's definitely a group horse. I know I don't tip out too many 8-year-olds. In fact, I'm away from tipping out 8-year-olds at the best of times. But Lord Turbo, I loved its first up run over 1,200 metres. It's had a trial in between. It's on its home track. It will love the heavy 11 track conditions. It's a horse that's won 8 or 9 races in this grade. That's just phenomenal to be put in this grade. I know the handicappers, they struggle to rate horses back from Hong Kong. I think it's well out of its grade in terms of it should be in maybe at least 85 company, Lord Turbo. So around about $14, that's one I'm going to include in the last leg at Awapuni.
Stephen Hunt just used 183 words and did not answer the question I gave him, but thank you, Stephen. We're looking forward to seeing how you guys get on with your pick 6 as well. Verlace, of course, sponsor us, and they have the new stallion coming in, US Navy flag. It's an exciting time for them. They've got State Line in the first on the card at Te Rapa today, 2-year-old, and also Mrs. Beckham out of Posh. Oh, that's pretty cunning. At Flemington in the 5th on the card. Thank you, Verlace. We appreciate what you're doing, and good luck, of course, for the breeding season ahead as bookings start to come through. US Navy flag, if you're looking for a sprinter, could well be one to look into the Coolmore 2-year-old of a couple of seasons ago. Very, very sharp. Okay, strategies for the day. Let's get to Brendan Popwell out of Te Rapa. He's gone Super G as his bestie in the 4th on the card. He likes Anatolia and Vera Drake as a value bet, and his $100 strategies Anatolia, my apologies, race 2, Super G race 4, Vera Drake race 5, and pick 6. He's gone Helena Baby as an all-out option with 4 in the other 2 legs. Bevan Sweeney out of Awapuni with the heavy 11 is the flavour du jour. Has gone Platinum Rapper nice and early, so it's $3 now. If you want to jump on and build that account up, that's his $100 win bet, so just bang, that was easy. Then pick 6, lots, and lots. Potential anchor, if you need one, is Tell You What. I think Obsessive is potentially my anchor for the day, away from Helena Baby in the first leg out of Te Rapa. Ben Ascari joined us from racing.com to go through finals day in Melbourne. He liked the Statesman for Willow, who rode 6 on this day last year. It's in the 2nd on the card. Ribasaki's in a beautiful 2-year-old race. Gee, it's a good one. The Taj Rossi at 2.10 for Paddy Payne. And not a single cent at 4.8 in race 6. And of course, Brad Gray was tipping at Randwick today, where it's been very, very wet for the week. The rail's out a long way here. Could be a day for the leaders. Monsur Sisu for Kathy O'Hara's his bestie in the 4th on the card at 2.7. Kathy also rides Dr. Drill in race 6, and Charatira for Christian Reith in the 8th. Right.